Hey there, we're back to our regular wine fool shenanigans. This week we're looking at 3 different wine fool levels of red wine that you can bring to your holiday party or festivities. These are sure to be crowd pleasers. 'Tis the season for holiday get-togethers, and maybe you're wondering what kind of wine to bring to that party. Well, my first question to you is, what kind of crowd is it? Regular wine drinkers who are looking for something special, or beginner wine fools who just want something easy to drink? Let's take a look at 3 options for the beginners, those just getting started, and those looking to expand their palate beyond. First up, and we haven't kind of gone down this road before really, not like for a true wine fool level 0, but sometimes there's those parties, where nobody's had wine. Nobody's really familiar with wine. So let's start with Pinot Noir. Pinot Noir is known for its lighter body and red fruit flavors like cherry and raspberry. A great choice for those who are new to red wine, and great because this time of year it pairs nicely with roasted poultry of all things. Pinot Noir is grown throughout the world, but maybe most famous for the Burgundy region of France. California and Oregon are pretty good too. As I've done in previous videos with reds, I've given these wines a little bit of a chance to breathe in the glass, maybe help break up those tannins a little bit, give them some room to move around. This is a 2021 Lyle Thomas Lot 720 Pinot Noir from California. And as try as I might, I could not find tasting notes. So we'll just have to hope for the best and see if it meets the standard notes of Pinot Noir. So a good color here. This is like garnet color intensity is pretty low, which is typical for, Pinot Noir is typically the more light-bodied. So it doesn't have, density. It doesn't have the density that I expect, the intensity that I expect from like a Cab or even a Merlot. Definitely getting those cherry notes. I can get some raspberry off of it too. There's something else in there too. A little bit of leather. Let's give it a try. Good tannins. Not very heavy. A little bit drier for a beginner red, but pleasant. Doesn't last on the tongue very long. Fairly pleasant, definitely an approachable. Pinot Noir in general tends to be approachable. Not very heavy, light-bodied. Can pair well with a lot of things. Again, because, when we say not approachable, it doesn't have any of those really strong, it doesn't have high acidity. It doesn't have high tannins. Everything's kind of moderate, very pleasant. Crowd pleaser, definitely. Really enjoyable, really something that even somebody who, this one's a little bit dry. I think in general, Pinot Noirs tend to be a little bit on the, bottom end of, the dry scale. It's not, you're not going to knock anybody over with the dryness on this. But interesting, and something that the majority of people who are kind of at that beginner level, just getting into wine, could really enjoy. All right, next, so let's say you're going to a wine fool level 1 party where the crowd is just getting into wine. They're looking to try a varietal they've heard of, but maybe haven't dared to try before. Merlot is a medium-bodied red wine that typically features flavors of plum, cherry, and even a touch of chocolate. This next wine is a 2019 Laternus Merlot from Columbia Valley in Washington State. If you watched one of my previous videos, I revealed this on the opening of the mystery box, is a mystery case that I received. So we're going to try this for the first time. I haven't tried it yet, so interested to see whether it was worth it or not. Per wine enthusiast, notes of barrel spice, ripe plum and cigar box. Barrel spice. She must have been one of the failed Spice Girls. No? All right. Let's give it a try. So a little bit more intense color. Definitely getting some of that garnet. A little bit less purple than the Pinot Noir. Lots of ripe fruit coming in off the nose. Definitely getting some of that chocolate. That's funny. It's kind of like an underlying aroma in there. Definitely plums. So, cigar box. Maybe that's what that is. All right. I've had the occasional cigar, so I can buy that. Let's give it a try. Ooh. Okay. So, a little bit more intense on the flavor, like on the palate. A little bit, again, tannins are pretty mild, not very high. Dry, though. So, it's kind of a nice combination as opposed to high tannins and dry, which can be like a 1-2 punch. This is kind of nice. It's got that dryness, but it doesn't have that tannins that's really like drying your mouth out. Decent acidity, and my mouth's watering a little bit. So, yeah, quite nice. But yeah, kind of taking that next step, not quite as approachable, I guess, as the Pinot Noir. Merlot is still, it's still in that wineful level 1. This is something that people are familiar with. And maybe, is this, your first red? No, possibly. Again, it's not presenting any features that are going to shock somebody. This could be an entry-level red wine. Got like a little bit of green beans there. All right, now we move on to our Wineful Level 2 party. And these are people who are familiar with wine, whether it's white or red. They're familiar with the everyday, everybody knows, the varietals. And they're really looking to kind of push that envelope of what they're drinking, whether it's with a different varietal or with a varietal that they know made in a different country or in a different way, maybe blended with something, or all of the above. Côtes de Rhône is a French wine primarily made from Grenache, Syrah, and Mourvèdre. Today we have a Côtes de Rhône village, Domaine des Mariniers, Signargues. And I hope I didn't butcher that too badly. This particular one happens to be made from 60% Grenache and 40% Syrah. So this is very purple, very light intensity, not very dense, not very strong or intense all the way through, not quite as light as the Pinot Noir, but not as intense as the Merlot. Let's give it a shot. Red fruit, some spice. It's like an underlying, I'd say mushrooms, a little bit. Let's give it a try. Lasts on the palate, moderate tannins, give you the mouth drying effect. Light bodied, which is nice. Getting a lot of that fruit on the palate. Quite pleasant. Definitely a step up in complexity. Higher tannins, good acidity, lasting on the palate. All signs of just kind of a next step up in your wine. This starts to get into the types of wines that you might purchase and keep stored in a cellar for a period of time, or basement like I have, or wine fridge. These are kind of made to drink right away. That's how a lot of, especially California, that's how a lot of California wines are made nowadays. They're not really meant to age. They're usually aged before they hit the shelf, and that's it. So this is starting to get, we're going into France. We're getting into an area very well known for its wine production. For those, who are looking for something for those wine full level 3 friends, really look no further than the cru level of Côtes de Rhône. These chateaus offer really the next level in wine quality and complexity, and the need for a larger wallet. To enjoy wine from any of these cru level chateaus, you're going to need to pay for it. So there we have it. Some reds that will hopefully please just about any crowd this holiday season. Next week, we'll take a look at some white wines. And the week after that, we'll have our special guest back, and we'll be looking at some champagne recommendations to ring the new year in with. Until then, stay foolish, and cheers to drinking better wine.